This evening's conference will last for 25 minutes, in which we will discuss bridging digital and face-to-face communication. This evening's conference is level A1 to A2. I will talk about the conference for the next 25 minutes, and for the last 5 minutes, we will have a question and answer section, where you can either ask questions you have written down or that you have put into the chat. So let's begin. Today's conference will have 4 parts. We are going to talk about communication in the digital age, expressions we use for texting, face-to-face communication, and how we bridge the gap from a screen to a smile. So let's look at our first part, communication in the digital age. What is communication? Communication is how we connect. It's not just words. It's tone, it's our eyes, it's our smile, and it's our feelings. We can communicate with our voice, with our facial expressions, and even with our silence. So let's check some ways of communication. So you could either talk to a friend face to face. You can send your mom a message. You can share a funny video, or you can communicate through your gestures. So that means through your facial movements, your hand movements, and your body language. So in short, communication means connection. We don't always talk in the same way. So everybody has a different way of communicating, and everybody says different things depending on the way they communicate. For example, if I was face to face, I would say, "Hi, how are you?" But maybe in a text message, I would say, "Hey, what's up?" In a voice note, I would use my voice more. So I'd say, "Hey, I just wanted to say hi." And in a video call, I could say, "Hey, can you see me? Is the connection good?" And each one creates a different feeling. So face-to-face can feel very personal, and texting feels fast and casual. So we know that digital communication is very popular. But why do we love it so much? We love sending messages or voice notes because it's quick. We do it with one click. It's easy. That means there's no need to meet or organize a time when we get together. It's fun because we can use emojis and pictures and GIFs, and it's global. That means you can speak to anyone, anywhere. It has allowed us to speak to people in different countries, which has made communication so much better. But sometimes messages can be cold or misunderstood. When we communicate digitally, there is often room for misunderstanding. A smile in person says more than 10 emojis. So let's look at an example dialogue. So something we are having on WhatsApp. So Liam says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Emma says, "Just chilling." "And you?" Liam says, "Watching a movie." "Cool. What movie?" "Spider-Man." "Nice. Love it." So here we see that texting is short, it's quick and fun, but the tone and the emotion depend on the emojis and the punctuation. So, do you prefer texting or talking? And why? So, if you would like, give me your response in the chat. You could use, I prefer texting because it's quick, it's easy, or I like talking face to face because. So please feel free to put your sentences into the chat so that I'm able to share it with everybody else. Me, for example, I like talking face to face because my body language is always clear. Mel has shared with us, she says, I prefer texting because it's easy. And it's true. It is a lot easier to communicate via text. Would anyone else like to share which one they prefer? Texting or talking face to face? So Raymond says he enjoys talking face to face. I like talking because it's faster. Yes, thank you, Dumi. I prefer texting because it's easy. Thank you, Karin. So you can see that we all have different preferences, and that is okay. So expressions for texting. What are some expressions we can use? We often write fast and short when we text. And now with our modern language and how it is changing, we see things like LOL, which means laugh out loud. OMG, which can be oh my God or oh my gosh. BRB means be right back. TTYL is talk to you later. BTW stands for by the way. IDK means I don't know. We don't always have to use the shortened versions. Sometimes it just makes texting easier. And what about emojis and feelings? So what do these express? You have the happy emoji, the sad emoji, the angry emoji, the cool emoji, the love emoji, and the thinking. And example sentences would be, I'm happy because today is Friday. I'm so tired after work today. I love this song. Emojis are great helpers in text, but real expressions are stronger. And I think that's why we will often see people who do video calls, because for them, when they communicate, it is clearer. So let's look at a short dialogue that uses text language. Anna says, OMG, guess what? Tom says, what happened? And he uses a shocked face. I met Brad Pitt. LOL, that's amazing. Be right back, sending a photo. Texting is emotional but short. When we are in person, we add a voice, we add a surprise, and we add energy. It's very difficult in a text to add emotion. So some people might prefer to be in person. We also then have to remember that we have informal language and formal language. When we text, we write quickly and we often skip words. When we speak or write formally, we need full words. So for example, the text could be, you're going to come to the party. But writing it out properly would be, are you going to come to the party? The text could be THX. But written properly, it means thank you. A tip is to know when to switch. Our friends will get informal, but our teachers or our colleagues will always get the formal way that we write. Let's move on to face-to-face communication. Why is it important? Talking in person is powerful. You can see, you can feel, and you can listen better. Some of the advantages is that it builds trust with the person that you are speaking to. It reduces confusion, and it also feels natural and kind. For example, hello Jennifer, it's lovely to see you. It has been a long time. So here in this conversation, you could have eye contact, you could have an expressive big smile, and you could have a hug. So the person will know that you genuinely have missed them and you really love the fact that you can see them. So when meeting people in person, there are common phrases we can use. Like, for example, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. That's interesting for when someone is talking about something interesting. If they continue the conversation, we could say, really, tell me more, because this shows that I'm engaged. See you later. And it was great to see you. We need to remember that with our words, they are very important. But our body language can also say a lot. A smile shows friendliness and openness. Eye contact shows confidence and interest. A nod, it shows agreement and that you understand. A shrug, it shows uncertainty. When you cross your arms, it shows a closed or defensive attitude. For example, he didn't talk, but I knew he was sad from his facial expressions. Our facial expressions say so much, and we often need to be aware of our body language. Are we open or are we closed? So here's an example dialogue, and this is a face-to-face dialogue. Hi Alex, how are you today? Hey Sarah, I'm good, thanks. You? Not bad, just came from class. Cool, wanna grab a coffee? Sure, let's go. It's a short, natural, friendly tone and smiles that make it warm. So let's do a comparison and let's reflect. In text, we say, want a coffee? But in speech, would you like to get a coffee together? The insight is that speaking shows care and emotion. Texting is quick, but less expressive. You can also write out a text saying, would you like to get a coffee together? And you could have that same expression, you can have that same feeling of it shows care and it shows emotion. But we never know how the other person is going to understand our message. Our tone of voice, our smile and our gestures make conversations warmer. Face-to-face talk helps build stronger connections. So how do we bridge that gap from the screen to the smile? We need to remember balance. Digital talk connects us quickly, while face-to-face talk connects us deeply. Both are useful, but together they are powerful. For example, a text could read, good morning, see you at 3 p.m. for coffee. But then talking in person, we could say, hey, how was your night? Tips for better communication are, for example, listen more than you speak. Be an active listener. Look at the person's eyes. Don't interrupt. Use kind words, online and offline. We need to be present. Your attention is the best emoji. So in our final dialogue, we see how people blend both worlds. For example, hey, wanna meet later? Sure, let's talk instead of texting. In a funny way. Agreed. Too many chats today. Coffee shop at 5? Perfect. See you soon. Great. Technology connects us, but talking keeps us human. A real conversation lets us share emotions, not just information. Hearing someone's voice or seeing their smile reminds us we are not alone. So something we need to think about is how can we make digital talk more human? So the first thing we think of is we send voice messages. Your tone and emotion make the message feel more real and personal. And if we do not want to create a misunderstanding, we use a voice note to show that we have a calm tone. We can also be polite online. We use kind words like please and thank you. They matter even in messages. And we say hello with warmth. A friendly greeting can make someone's day and start a really good conversation. How can we make it more human? We could also not ghost. So what happens when we ghost someone? Ghosting means to ignore someone's messages. So we avoid this by giving a short reply, because a short reply shows respect and it keeps good communication. Number 5 is we can call sometimes. Hearing someone's voice helps you feel closer and understand each other better. So in conclusion, in our digital world, we live between two worlds, the world of messages and the world of voices. Both are beautiful when used with care. A smile can say more than 10 emojis, and one kind word can light up someone's day. So we need to remember to keep the balance. Type with kindness and talk with warmth. So thank you everybody for joining me for this evening's conference with the Cercle de la